I am very ashamed by my actions. I have let my former profession down, and I'm genuinely sorry for my indiscretions. What's up, beautiful people? How are you guys doing? Welcome back to Stroke Off with Nurse Sandy. You know how we keep it here. You know that we keep it very real, and we bring you all the juicy and hot gist that concerns nurses that have gotten struck from the NMC register. Now, just to go right into it, but before I go further, you guys, if you love this series and you want to see more of it and you haven't subscribed, please press the subscribe button. And if you're just seeing my face for the first time, welcome. Thank you for clicking on this video, and for my returning subscribers, you guys, you know how much you mean to me. Thank you guys so much. So guys, I have started this series for some weeks now, a few weeks, I think 2-3 weeks ago. So I'm going to attach the video up here from the previous ones that I have done, so you can just binge there and also learn. Trust me, they're all juicy content that you don't want to miss out on. So guys, to go right into what we have for today, I know you heard the confession that I made, the confession or the plea that I was making at the beginning of this video. We're going to get right into what was happening there. The case we're going to be discussing today is of a nurse that got struck off from the NMC register because she was obsessed with looking up patient records. Now, they claim that it's records from some relatives, from past neighbors, and people that she actually knows. And I tried to do this one because honestly, I feel like most times we are probably guilty with this type of thing. Something that anybody can easily fall into if you're not, properly enlightened, especially when you are an international nurse, because you might do it back home and it's not a big deal, or here in the UK it's actually a very, very big deal, and that is why this nurse has currently been struck off. As usual, let's read through and you guys can follow up on what has been going on. So it says NMC sanctions Band 6 nurse Elizabeth Ashton for looking up records of relatives, neighbors, and a colleague when none of them was in her care. His sentence: when none of them was in her care. A senior nurse who became obsessed with looking up medical records of relatives out of curiosity has been suspended from practice for 6 months by the Nursing and Midwifery Council. Elizabeth Ashton was working as a Band 6 sister at the Northern General Hospital in Sheffield when she accessed the records of 7 patients, guys, 7 patients, including family members, without permission. One man's records were accessed more than 50 times in a year. Wow, just wow. I don't know what to say. A fitness to practice hearing on 9th of June found Miss Ashton breached patients' privacy and confidentiality by looking at the medical records of a male relative more than 50 times in 1 year. Hey, is this obsession or what, guys? Is this what we call this, or we call it obsession or what? Tell me in the comment section. So she accessed the records of a colleague and admitted looking up records of a former neighbor or former neighbors to see their addresses. I am very ashamed by my actions. I have let my former profession down, and I am genuinely sorry for my indiscretions. And that was the apology that she rendered when the NMC started probing her. Now, Miss Ashton was referred to the NMC by Sheffield Teaching Hospital NHS Foundation Trust in December 2020 after a relative known as Patient A complained the nurse had accessed his medical records and shared information with others. Now that's absurd. A trust's investigation found that she had accessed the man's record 58 good times and had looked up records of 6 others, including an infant. This person is just an aproko, amebo, like very nosy. None of the individuals involved were in Miss Ashton's care, and which she had no clinical reason to look at their records for. The statement, she told the NMC panel, I am very ashamed by my actions, and I believe I became obsessed with assessing his or her relative's records, although not to read any information, just to see if he was due the hospital's appointment. Now that has got to be the lamest reason I've ever heard. That has got to be what? The lamest reason I ever heard. But let's keep reading. Any other people or patients I have assessed has been out of curiosity. I have never used or imparted any information to any other person. A lawyer representing the NMC told the panel the registrant was a nurse with a flippant attitude in a position of authority who abused her privilege, of course. So the NMC found Miss Ashton's actions amounted to misconduct. She has been suspended from the register for 6 months with an interim 18-month suspension order pending any appeal. The nurse acknowledged she had let everyone down, but stressed that she had not acted with malice or intentions to pass on information. I am aware that I have let my former profession down by my actions, and I am aware of the gravity of the situation, and I am genuinely sorry for any discretions. The chief nursing officer, Chris Morley, he said, we take patients' confidentiality very seriously, and all staff provided with training and clear guidance to ensure the rules are adhered to. We are aware which patient record the nurse assessed and individuals involved have been informed and a formal apology given. And he went ahead to give a statement that no one's treatment or care plan had been affected. Now let's talk about this whole thing. Well, I always share my opinions and I always say that you guys let me know what you think in the comment section as well. Share your thoughts and ideas as to what you think of the matter that we're talking about. To go into this whole thing, every health professional, not even just nurses, every health professional knows that the code of conduct or the code of practice preaches highly of privacy and confidentiality. Now this doesn't even have to just do with the UK. This is a general thing when it comes to health professionals in parts of the world. Privacy and confidentiality, they go together. Even in school, then in our exams, they ask us to give the difference between privacy and confidentiality. Even in interviews, you get asked the same question: tell me what you understand by privacy and confidentiality, equality and diversity, all those things. The questions always come up. They always want to know if you really understand what it means to promote privacy of your patients and also be very, very confidential and discreet about your patient's medical records or your patient's status of health. This nurse, with her position, and then obviously she has worked for a couple of years, this is someone that's supposed to have known better. This is someone that should be learned. There is no forgiving of this one. I saw this topic and I said I was going to come here and share my idea on it because, like I stated earlier on, this is something that people do randomly. Now you could just be passing by the nurse station and see a patient's folder. Maybe you are in bay 2, for instance, and there's a patient in bay 1. Maybe you even took care of that patient before, but at this moment you're not even taking care of the patient. Yet the patient is still in the same unit as you are. The patient is not in your bay. You're not responsible for that. You're not going to document your nursing notes for that patient for that shift. Now you do not have any business going through the notes of that patient except there is a justified reason. Maybe the nurse taking care of the bay has stepped out maybe for a break or something and has handed over the patients to you that help me take care of them. Then understandable if you say, okay, let me go through and see what is going on to know what the update on the patient is so that I know what to do in case there's a problem. But aside that, you can't just pass by and just walk over to a patient's folder and pick the folder up and start reading. Or you leave your unit, for instance, you are in the surgical unit, you leave and you go to the intensive care unit and you pick a patient's folder there and start reading because you feel like you're a nurse. I'm saying this because I know many people do it, okay, especially when you're coming from another part of the country. But if you're in the UK, it is totally forbidden. You're not supposed to do it. And even if you're in other parts of the world, if you've been doing it, it's something that you should stop doing because it is not right. You are invading the privacy of this patient. You are invading their personal space because yes, that's their personal space. You are making them lose their trust in the health sector, which is not supposed to even happen in the first place. This nurse has already breached privacy and confidentiality, and these are top terms when it comes to the healthcare setting at all, the healthcare sector at all. A revered term when it comes to the health sector. Let's talk about the fact that she visited apparently she felt like she knew these people, so it was okay for her to just go and access the records. That was abuse of power because, I mean, if they were your relatives and you were not a nurse, how are you going to be able to access the records? So you misused your power because you felt like, okay, you could do this thing, you went ahead to do it, not asking for permission from these people. So if you were so curious and these were your relatives, you could have easily walked up to them and asked them, what is the update? Now there's a part that says she wanted to know if the person had an appointment. Now this same person that you're saying you wanted to know if he had an appointment was the one that came to report to say that you are going through his records and you are telling someone else about, or some other people, you're divulging information to them about his health status. So that was a blatant lie because it doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I know that human beings they are fond of gossiping and trying to just look for things to talk about, and when they're out of what to talk about, they start talking about other people's problems. And that's what this lady was doing, because why would you be so nosy? You are checking a relative's record, you are checking your neighbors, your former neighbors said you're checking their record, checking an infant's record. To what end? What are you trying to do? Is it that if you find out medical records, you will start offering them treatment or offering them drugs or whatever? So this person was just someone that was being very, very nosy, and honestly, she's lucky to have just gotten suspended for a couple of months. And I really hope that when she comes back to the profession, she learns her lesson. So this should serve as a morale for every nurse out there or every healthcare professional at all, because once you breach that contract, basically, because the patient comes into care with you and it's like you're signing a contract, the person is coming for your care, and if it's not the NHS, if it's private organizations, you pay them. But even if they're not paying, even if it's the NHS, it's still like a contract. The patient is there for you to take care of them, the NHS pays you in return. So you cannot breach a contract of providing privacy. And when it comes to providing privacy, it comes with asking for consent before you do anything for the patient. It's related, and it comes with stuff like if you want to perform any procedure for the patient, you make sure that they are protected, they are screened, don't expose them unnecessarily, all those kind of things. And then when it comes to confidentiality, it's keeping the information information of your patients very, very discreet, not disclosing their medical records, not discussing a patient's medical condition with another person, for no absolute reason, except whatever you're discussing is channeled towards the care of that patient, and is channeled towards improving that patient's health. If not, you have no business discussing these patients, going through their folders, or even trying to find out any information about them. This should serve as a warning so that you will not be a scapegoat as well. And I have done my part as a good servant, as a good bearer of information, tell you guys what is going on so that you will know. Because like I said, the purpose of bringing this series is I have been seeing cases and I was like, these are things that people do on a regular, like it's a norm for them. They don't see anything bad in it. But in the eyes of the NMC, it is a taboo, and they can either get you suspended or struck off. Now, this case today is not someone that was struck off, or she has been suspended, and it could have gotten worse. Thankfully, she has been given some time off to go and process what she has done and to make amends and to come back as a better person. Now, I hope that you have learned one or two things from this video. Please, very important, if you want more information on privacy and confidentiality, I would either attach a link in the comment section, or you can just go on Google and read what the whole term, what it means, because it's quite broad. So read up what privacy and confidentiality is, so you have a better information and you know principles to guide you in your workspace and in life generally. Now guys, if you've enjoyed this content, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe as well, and I will see you guys in my next video, which of course comes out every Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. and like I said, you can always go back and watch the other videos that I have done. And guys, I'll see you next week. Bye.